Good morning, good morning. Let me just change the stream up here, or screen. Let's Mars, Honest, what's up? Why does your thumbnail look like a death metal album cover? Good question. I guess that's to appease the fudsters out there, the bears. They love the hellfire and the red and the flame and the pain and the misery. It's basically what we're in. It's the bear market, man. We're not through it yet. It's been a bit of a hell, a crypto hell. We're in sort of like purgatory. So my little point there is that Bitcoin is somewhat of a snowball, because you know the whole saying, snowball's chance in hell, that kind of thing. So where are we at? This to me looks like a beautiful rounding bottom. I mean, it's very, look at that. It's lovely. Rounding bottom. What could that mean? Potential reversal, at least back to 17K. So just to sort of like get a bit of context for what's happening, obviously we'll start with Bitcoin. Let's go to the daily actually. And as far as price action goes, we're still in a bit of a bear pennant here, so by no means are we bullish yet. Let me just draw that pennant out for those playing at home. Something like this, right? I'm just trying to get as much activity off these lines as possible. Now this pennant, it may come up a little higher because it's, you know, we haven't got that third touch yet, but we do have a bit of activity off these two pivots here. And then the bottom side, depending if you're going to draw it from wicks or candles, it's a bit of both really. You could say it's like more like something like that. So yeah, I mean, like, some people might be looking at this as more of a flat top. You know, if you're taking the wicks out of the equation, you're dealing with like some kind of an ascending triangle. Either way, however you want to draw a border around that, we have dropped and we've consolidated. So we're in some kind of consolidation here. Purgatory. What's up, Clive? Is that a new coin? You know, there probably is a purgatory coin with a ticker PUR or something like that, or HELL. But yeah, this is the way things are gearing up. Dare I say we might, you know, just judging by today's activity, we might see a rally up into test 17K again. And maybe it takes longer than that. Maybe that's the build up towards CPI that we're getting. And then maybe we come back up to test the June low, or perhaps these levels that we were hitting earlier, you know, a few weeks ago. So that's like the optimistic side. That's the optimistic case for Bitcoin right now. Now the pessimistic, the bearish case would be that we're in some kind of a bear pennant, right? Because we've fallen into this shape. We have not yet back tested these lows, or this low here. So perhaps we do textbook fall out of this bear pennant, come down, finally get our breakdown of the rising wedge, right? And then, you know, test that low to see if it holds. Good morning, Radium Design. How you doing, man? And so for now, that's what it's looking like. It would be nice to see that flush down to get rid of, you know, that doubt, because you know, there's a lot of doubt of any kind of move up because of this gap here that's been left. Clive Clive thinks that tomorrow's going to break 17k. Well, that'd be nice. We'll have a look. So today's got 12 minutes left. So the 2nd of January candle, green following the green 1st of January candle. So this year's off to an okay start. It's very small. It's nothing. There's been no major moves just yet. It's all been very much in theme with December, hasn't it? December's been, at least the back end of December's been quite flat, especially around Christmas. But so that's the daily. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's try to get a bit more of a handle on what this is and what it means. So if you can see that RSI is approaching like an overbought area. It's not quite there yet. It's not up over the 70 yet. But so there is room to climb still, but it appears like there's a bit of a corrective move happening right now while we're waiting for this daily candle to close. Once again, like I said yesterday, trading at or around a daily close is kind of, it's a bit messy. Like, if you can sort of like get a feel for where it's headed into that daily close, then by all means take a position. Like, obviously this is a downtrend, and if you look across to like say Solana, let me just hide the Ishimoku for a minute. It's a lot of the alts have felt this pullback already, right? We've got a big old bear flag right here, by the way, Solana. So if you entered a short there, like you're now targeting, lower prices. So that's cool. I was trying to scalp this earlier this morning and got stopped out on a couple or one of them. That's fine. I think I just woke up like around here, or sat at the computer around here, looking to catch some of this, which you Americans have been awake for the whole day. This nice trend that's been going up, especially this last bit here. But yeah, I woke up late, caught the end of it, and got stopped out. So, and now we're here. So we're looking maybe like we're in for a correction, potentially, depending on what Bitcoin decides to do here. Now, I just want to see what kind of structure we got going on here. So as far as like supports and resistances go, if I turn on the smart concepts here, now these gray boxes over here, these are fair value gaps. So you can see Bitcoin came to back test and found support off that gap, in that zone, and has ridden back up. Now that same zone, if you were to extrapolate it sideways, we've come back into it, and so far we're tapping it. No real sign of, a bounce just yet. Still early. We might get it in 8 minutes. We'll see how the daily candle closes out. How many people we got in here? 23 people already. That's cool. Smash up the like button, guys. Hit subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see if we can get some more people to roll in. So yeah, from a structure perspective, like let's get some shapes drawn up on this. So there's a very obvious overhead resistance in this kind of zone here. Yes, there's some wicks that go through it, but for the most part, I would say that's our kind of area of resistance right now that we're fighting. And then obviously on the support side, it looks something like this at the moment. So we're currently at support of this particular range. From a bullish perspective, hopefully the support holds. One way to play it would be to enter along somewhere around here, like maybe wait for confirmation, wait for a candle or two to start closing outside on top, and then set a stop, like, you know, below this area, so that you may catch like the next move up. Or vice versa, like let's say you're playing the breakout, like if this support fails, if this zone fails as support, and let's say it comes back, tests, enter a short, you know, off confirmation, set a stop above the zone, and then ride it into the pullback. If that happens, like it's, yeah, that's the way to play these sort of critical levels, you know. Let's get that music down a bit, it's a bit loud, sorry. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm seeing Bitcoin right now. And you know, Bitcoin is the dictator for crypto right now, as we all know. Has not changed since crypto's been a thing. And I don't see it changing anytime soon. The biggest threat to Bitcoin has moved to proof of stake off, proof of work off, no, proof of stake off from proof of work. So Ethereum, that's another big topic. Like, you know, does it still stand a chance to flip Bitcoin at some point? You know, it gave up on the proof of work method, so that's a thing. Now Bitcoin's like one of the only proof of work, like big, decently proof of work type coins. And I have heard a rumor that DOGE may, like it is a rumor, but DOGE may move to proof of stake as well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's only a rumor, right? It's not even a rumor worth buying or like, you know, doing anything with, because it is really just a whisper in the dark. I couldn't tell you where I heard that. I can't remember. It was from some video. Now, what are we, 5 minutes out? Ooh, look at this. Okay, support structure is really getting tested now. It looks like we've just broken it. Wait for this to close though. Don't take any action, I would say. It could just end up being a liquidity grab, like a swing failure below this point, this low here. That's why you gotta always you gotta scrutinize these moves, these pushes that go beyond, right? Because they could end up just being a bunch of wick, and you know, it was purposely pushed there for the sake of liquidating people and grabbing stop losses. We also could be coming down to fill more of this fair value gap that was left behind here, right? We haven't come into that zone yet. And there's also a bunch of gap apparently through here. I mean, it kind of already did get back tested, this box. So I'm not paying attention to that box as much. It's more so this one here. This top box. So right now it is looking like it is just a bunch of hot air. This move down, like it's we gotta wait for that close. We are what, 3 minutes out from the day? So yeah, crash into the daily close, maybe pump into the daily open. I don't know, we'll see. The cool thing is that the market is moving. It's not just doing this, like stuff like this. See this range here that you know, chopping sideways. We don't want to see that. We want to see a direction, and then let's trade the direction, you know? So all of this yesterday was awesome for trading. Like, maybe, you know, if not Bitcoin, like this created the environment for alts to move, right? This Bitcoin trend. But yeah, right now, this does look like it may pose a threat to the structure here, or the bullish structure. We may be getting a bit of a change in direction. Once again, like I was talking about yesterday, we were fighting this trend line here. See this blue line that's ascending? We bounced off it as support here. We met it as resistance here. You know, there's been a lot of like magnetic action to it around here. So is it gonna hold as support here? Like, are we on top of it for now? Like, is this pullback that we're experiencing just the back test? You know, we burst through it and now we want to back test it and see if it holds. And then if it does, we get permission to move up higher. We've got 2 minutes left or less of the daily. Cool thing about this smart money concepts indicator is that it kind of gives you ranges to look at. Like, here's one here. Like, it's using these lines as somewhat of a range, right? Now there's an indicator which I should try and find. Let me go dig it out. I'll turn off this divergence indicator. And it's like an auto trend line, I think. I think it's called like, and I think it's by Lux Algo. See if I can dig it out of my list here. Swing highs and lows. Yeah, trend lines with breaks. There we go. So this gives you trend lines. So now the blue bars that I've put up, those are more, or the blue boxes, those are more your support resistance levels. And these are your trends. So trend lines are the ones that catch lows and highs, right? And like draw them up. Now you can dial this in to be a bit more sensitive to price. You can change the length down. You can change it up higher, so you're catching larger trend moves. I don't know what it is by default. Let's go reset. Yeah, 14 and slope 1. I don't know what the slope does. Okay, so it makes it more aggressive. Slope calculation method. It's the average true range. You can have it at standard deviation or linear regression. I don't have a lot of experience with this indicator, but yeah, it could help. It looks like it wants to make it looks like it wants to make equilateral triangles, or like, sorry, symmetrical. It's going for that kind of symmetrical pennant type deal. I'm gonna see if I can tighten it up. Yeah, I guess it's all about finding that sweet spot to where it's actually gonna help you detect trends and things. Well, here we go. That Bitcoin has got the new daily candle starting. So far, it's a back test of Mr. Blue line here. Anyway, I'm gonna turn off that trend line indicator. We'll play with that another time. But yeah, we're getting a nice pullback here. Rhino says, do a 1.6. All right, let me go grab it. Let's go find it. Trend line with breaks by Lux. Go 1.6. And only confirms. Show only confirmed breakouts. Okay. What is it without that? Oh, okay, this gives you labels. That's cool. I like that. Only condoms measured Kev. Yeah. Alright. Wonder what the other standard deviation, linear regression. Ooh, okay. Average true range. Yeah, I like the ATR one. Length 14. So I'm guessing it's looking at 14 candles worth to get its measure of the trend. Keep it on 14. This was a nice short there. It says B. Oh, I see. Buy green, buy red. So buying a red means buying a short, I'm guessing. Buying a green is like, means that yeah, that's really nice. I like that. Let's back test this. Let's shit test it, right? So it's still playing out a red, a short. Let's go just like randomly way back, okay? Okay, this was saying to buy a short on the break of this trend here. So enter the short there, write it down. Cool. It didn't actually signal to buy a long here, but it certainly broke that that trend line there. Okay, it's telling to buy a short here. Yep, that worked out well. That's 2 for 2. It's saying to buy a short here. Ooh, okay, this one, it kind of got faked out a little because it came back up. But then, yeah, eventually it was correct. Told you to buy another short here. Correct. Not bad. Yeah, it's certainly looking for a lot of shorts. Buy short, buy short, buy short. It didn't tell us to buy a long here, which would have been nice. Okay, now it's getting the commitment to saying to buy a long off this break here, which actually worked out well. You get the gist. It's basically just, it's looking at breaks, like trend line breaks, and signaling possible positions and entries, right? Yeah, it's a nice little indicator. I like it. Okay, let's look at current price. We don't really have any kind of... I can manually put one in, and there seems to be like some kind of a trend like this. It's very sharp and steep. So maybe when that breaks, it's a long, you know? Like if it was to break here, that would be a nice setup for a potential long, right? But it has not drawn that yet. I suppose we just have to wait for this to all settle down, find some kind of consolidation, like, you know, bit of price action, and then maybe that's where it's going to start tracing new trends. That's one to look up. Trend lines with breaks by Lux Algo. There may be some nice videos on it of how to use it and how to benefit from it. Look at our Bitcoin support zone. Nasty wicking, yeah, sure. No candle closes below it though, so that's interesting. Could we be getting a bounce? Could Clive's prediction of $17,000 be accurate? Definitely possible. Now, one other cool thing that I noticed is that the S&P futures is moving. We're getting information. So it's woken up. It gapped up big time. It's a big gap here, and has since filled that gap. So it's basically at square one. This is where it left off. It is pretty much back at that level. Yeah, gapped up, filled the gap, and now has to decide what it's going to do for the rest of the day. Is it going to crash? Is it going to climb? Zooming out on the S&P 500 is this big old pennant, this bear pennant that we're in, right? It'll be interesting to see what is the final break. Are we going to get a break against textbook, like so go up, or is it going to be a textbook breakdown? That's what Tuesday is going to tell us. So I think you guys are still Monday night in the US, aren't you? Yeah, Monday night. So Tuesday morning here in Australia. Not too many hours to wait until we start seeing some movement from legacy. How's XRP been? XRP's had an interesting day yesterday. So yesterday's candle. Let me just hide the indicators for a second. Out on the hourly, it had a nasty dump. That's right. Total recovery though. Total recovery and beyond. Like we traded nice. And right now, the last 3 hours have been corrective. So yeah, we'll see how that unfolds. Doge Moon, $10. Thanks for your daily review. You're most welcome, man. My pleasure, always a pleasure. And thank you, appreciate the support. That always puts a smile on my face. So, let's go across to Solana, because this was another one that I've been scalping with Serrano. It proves to have good movement on it. Now Doge Moon, I'll look at Doge for you because it sounds like you're a fan. I'm a fan of Doge too. Like it does some really nice moves. When it gets going, it gets going. Like it pushes percentages beautifully. Let me just get a measure here on that move for Solana. That was the 21% pump out of nowhere. Like, what the hell? That was big. What's up, D Johnny? DJ Oni or D Johnny? Yeah, ascending triangle, fake out, break down. Maybe not a fake out. Maybe it's the actual move. We bear flagged, by the way. You see that? So I'll just use a linear regression to show it. We flagged out of that beautifully. So downtrend, consolidation up, breakdown, bear flag, beautiful. Textbook. So something that I haven't done in a little while is just go over the headlines for today. So let's go to CoinDesk first, then we'll look at Cointelegraph as well, because they're two like really big news websites. Let's allow cookies. I trust them. Is this too blinding? Yeah, it would be. Let me turn that back off. First mover, Asia. Bitcoin celebrates the new year with old pricing. Holds steady at 16.7K. Cool. Yeah, I would certainly suggest checking out CoinDesk every now and then. You know, catch what's trending, what's hot, what's everyone talking about. The live wire is basically like a news feed. I hope I don't break the stream with this. Sorry, guys. But yeah, here's your January 1, your January 2, and then today. So what was yesterday, or the 1st of Jan? UK enforces crypto tax break for foreigners using local brokers. What will it take for Bitcoin mining companies to survive in 2023? That could be a good article. Gemini co-founder accuses DCG's Silbert of bad faith stalling in $900 million locked funds dispute. Interesting. What is that all about? So the Winklevoss boys, right? Silbert responded, saying his firm submitted a proposal to Genesis and Gemini's advisors last Thursday. The co-founder of crypto exchange Gemini has accused Digital Currency Group CEO Barry Silbert of bad faith stall tactics as their respective companies lock horns over a business disagreement precipitated by FTX's multi-billion-dollar implosion last year. Cameron Winklevoss blasted Silbert in an open letter posted to Twitter. That might be worth looking at. Alleging crypto broker Genesis Global Capital and its parent company DCG owe Gemini's clients $900 million. The letter alleges Gemini has awaited word on a repayment agreement for 6 weeks to no avail. DCG is also CoinDesk's parent company, so that's the website we're reading this off. Silbert responded, tweeting that DCG delivered to Genesis and Gemini's advisors a proposal on December 29th, 2022, and has not had any response. Interesting. Yeah. So check out these websites, guys. They're really good to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening fundamentally, or at least from a news perspective. Another website that I recommend is Cointelegraph. I don't know who owns Cointelegraph, so we know that DCG owns CoinDesk, or it is the parent company to it. Okay, here's Cointelegraph. I'll bring that across. Hot stories, editor's choice. I don't know how Cointelegraph compares with CoinDesk. Like, who's bigger, who has a lot more pull. But both are good. Okay, this is a very hot story. 14 minutes ago. Final Fantasy creator reveals aggressive investment in blockchain games. Wow. Final Fantasy is a big franchise in gaming, right? Models and fundamentals, where will Bitcoin price go in 2023? That could be interesting for a bit of a look. So
I'm just going to type straight on.
Sorry, interruption. Models and fundamentals, where will Bitcoin price go? That's interesting. I want to have a look at that. So this might be a bit of technical analysis. A report on TA, right? Now there's a model that's quite popular. The name of it escapes me. It looks like this, right? It's got an acronym for what it's called. This is like the stock to flow chart, right? There is another one. It's called like the CCB or the BBC. I don't know, man. I don't want to say BBC. I don't know what model it's called. I can't remember. I saw it in a video this morning. Let me just grab the name of it for you so you can check it out. The CBBI, that's it, Kev. Kev's on it, Measured Kev. Thank you, appreciate that. The CBBI. So yeah, anyway, check out that for your headlines, guys. It's worth a look. Let's go back to what's happening in the market. Got a nice little bounce on Solana here. Are we getting that? Ooh, okay, yeah. This is getting respected so far, if you ask me. This support zone, right? For Bitcoin. Where, if we go to the 1 hour, like it, yeah, okay, here we go. This is interesting, right? It's like we got this peel back. We've just been signaled potentially with a buy. See the buy signal there on the 15-minute. So it's looking at this trend, this supposed trend line. Getting a break, potentially. Could still be early, like, I don't know. If you do get into it, like, set a reasonable stop loss. This seems to be some kind of back test, right? Or liquidity grab. It sort of looks like that because we had a low here, right? how many people playing positions in this area had stop losses set just below, or like, you know, below that previous pivot. I mean, that's the thing. And then this looks to me like a swing failure or a liquidity grab. Now that it's grabbed that liquidity, they're like, cool, we got what we wanted. Let's start heading back up again. You know, we collected that liquidity. So now maybe it's moving toward the bearish liquidity. So the bears that sets that set shorts, maybe even through here, but mostly, you know, like after this got broken, there's probably a lot of short liquidity sitting up here too, like on the high side, right? So that's what these that's what I think these market makers would be doing, is just pushing price toward liquidity wherever it's most beneficial to them, right? But yeah, play it safe. Either, like, whatever you do, always play it safe. Don't put your house on it. Not financial advice. Do what you want to do, but yeah, it's my opinion. So yeah, that's it from like more of a higher time frame perspective. That's kind of what we're looking at today. Is Bitcoin going to hold this range? Are we seeing another move to test the top of the range? You know, mid to high 16K. We're already above 16 and a half. I don't think we even came to back test it. Yeah, 16 and a half is all the way down here. So we've already got that out of the way, I think, because we broke up above and back tested here. Yep, found support, moved up. So we're now playing around 16 and 3/4, right? 16,750 is this level. So we're taking it in chunks. Now, I did say I was going to have a look at Dogecoin, so let me do that. Let me open up the Dogecoin chart. We'll look at Bybit. Oh, no, let's look at the Binance spot Dogecoin chart. Go out on the 4 hour just to get a bit of bird's eye view of what's happening. So Dogecoin has been in this massive falling trend ever since this high. Remember when we basically hit 16 cents not so long ago, right? Huge correction off that. Amazing for the bears to trade that pullback. Another like sign of support at 7 cents, yeah? Double bottom, bounce up, form what is the second pivot. So this is pivot 1, right? This is pivot 2 now. So it formed that by getting rejected and going from an uptrend to a downtrend here. So that gives us pivot 2. Now, when you have two major pivots like that, you can draw a trend line, and that's what this white line is here. And we are currently knocking on the door of that trend line here. See? Now, same on the bottom side, we had a pivot here, and we now have a pivot down here. Arguably, this is just a line of support, and it had a dirty test of that support here. So we're looking at, if we zoom in, you can see an inverse head and shoulders. Like, I don't even have to draw it, right? It's very much an inverse head and shoulders, which has already broken out technically. There's the neckline to the head and shoulders. So it may be doing like a bit of a back test, right? Hit the neckline, cause the right shoulder, come up, back test, look for support. Do we have permission? If so, yes, let's break out, like that kind of deal, right? So Doge, yeah, there's potential there for another leg, but we need the green light from Papa Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the mothership still. It still calls the shots for like what happens with the alts. One says, anyone catch that Solana rocket last night? It was after midnight, 20% in like a few minutes. Yeah, I saw it. I didn't catch it though. I think Jack, our boy Jack, who's in the Discord, he may have caught that. I'm not sure. But anyway, there were some nice movements on Solana in the last, like, even not only this, right? Like, obviously that was an awesome move, but this was cool too. That was only a matter of hours ago. Solana is in a range. Can you see that? Let me just adjust this. So this doesn't matter too much anymore, this sloping up. This one still matters. But what I'm looking at is maybe something more like horizontal zone of support that exists somewhere like that. Now, all right, this is kind of what you have to do sometimes. You have to sort of see. All right, now it sort of looks like it's lining up like this, huh? We've got a bit of a slope happening here. Is this a ramp for Solana to use to start, you know, slowly inching its way back? So I'm using it like a channel drawing tool, which is just up here. I think it's underneath the pen tool. Maybe not. Maybe the second tool down. Yeah, second tool down, parallel channel is what this is. And you can turn off the midline if you want, if you just want it like this. But yeah, that seems to be the current trend here. It might be interesting to get that Lux algo on this as well. Trend line with breaks, right? Let's go up to a higher time frame. Maybe higher again. That's a giant triangle there. Maybe we need to go back to 5 minute. Yeah. So we're looking for the more sensitive moves. Most recent signal is kind of saying buy a short, right? But yeah, we'll see. I still haven't really like got my head around this indicator just yet. So once I do though, I'll be able to share it with you guys of my understanding of it. Or, you know, obviously you guys can just go out and research it yourself as well. Trend Lines with Breaks by Lux Algo. But yeah, we've looked at Solana, XRP, Doge, even, you know, the S&P futures. Obviously, Bitcoin is where we started. We've touched base with a bit of news analysis, like, you know, at least where to find news. CoinDesk, Cointelegraph. If you're active on Twitter, that's another way to like sort of catch things as they're happening. Because it's coming directly, sometimes directly from the source, right? Like if it doesn't have to go through a publisher, it doesn't have to go through someone editing or typing it up. You know, it's coming straight. It's like probably one of the earliest ways to catch news is Twitter. So yeah, Serrano's on it. There are Twitter bots that exist in Discord, so feel free to hop into the Discord and, you know, get friendly with that bot. By the way, the Discord link is coming up. I'll get the bot to put that up and I'll pin it to the top of the chat here for you guys to jump in if you haven't already. So there we are. What's been the peak viewership today? It's been pretty hot today. Nice, 30 people. Very good. Smash up the like button, guys, if you haven't. Alright, I'm just gonna jump off the camera here, turn the light off from in my face. I'll leave things running, but I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I'm gonna jump into Discord here. Feel free to jump in if you like. They're all hanging out in the boiler room, so I'm gonna go into YouTube Voice, and if they follow me in there, they follow me in there. If not, doesn't matter. I don't want to interrupt them in a voice channel that's not designed for YouTube. There's Serrano. What's up, dude?
What up, bud?
Much, just trying to see where what today's trend's gonna be. Bitcoin's still sort of like teasing. It's kind of suggesting support at this area, but yeah, we're still waiting on confirmation that it's gonna move up. I've had a couple of red pullback candles here so far. We're down on the 15-minute chart. Let me go to the 5. Yeah. Could this just be the back test, like the break, hook, and go kind of thing? We'll see. I don't know. I think this is significant, though. The fact that we came down and wicked that heavy on the bottom side, right?
What is that blue line supposed to be exactly?
So this
Light
blue box.
Trend line?
Oh, the trend line.
Not the box, the line. It's a trend line.
Yeah, that's coming in from. Yeah, it's coming in from ages ago, man. It's like it links. Let me just turn off some of these indicators so we can see it. Okay, it links.
You're on the 4 hour? What is this?
Yeah, this is the 4 hour. Yeah. It links this pivot here. God damn, all these little boxes that get in the way. And then this pivot here. So 2022 low linked up with, yeah, the late December low. We've had some activity below it. Like, it's been like a dirty retest, this whole push down here. Right. Getting everyone kind of scared and bearish, but we're kind of holding it now. We're above it, and it seems like maybe that was the back test. It looks like it on the 4 hour, right? And say the 1 hour, 15-minute. There's the 1 hour chart. Scott says barcoding and drifting down. I learned that from someone back a year ago. It was from some Aussie guy. Oh wait, that's you. Barcoding and drifting down, yeah. Well, I don't know when I said that, but it may have been somewhere back in the initial part of the bear market, perhaps. I don't know. I can't remember yesterday, to be honest, so who knows what happened last year. So just looking at from this perspective here, I'm going to turn off levels. Now this 2022 low, that should not be in here. This should be in critical levels. My other folder. Key levels, I call it. All right. So that way I can turn off the levels and keep the critical levels in play. So I'm going to turn auto chart off. This is, by the way, guys, if you're in TradingView and you want to drag the chart, but you want to keep the orientation like in this way, just turn automatic off, because it's going to mess with it. It's going to mess with and that way you can pull things around, and it's not going to do this on you, you know? It's good for framing, automatic mode, right? But then if you want to move without squeezing anything, turn it off and drag it around. So we're dealing with, yeah, there's some big levels at play here. There's our 2019 high, which is basically $14,000. We've now got our 2022 low, which is 15.5. So we've got 14, 15.5, and then we've got our June low, which is basically 17.5, roughly, right? You can see the numbers here: 17,622, 15,478, and then 14,000, or basically 13,970 for those that want to get real dollar specific. That's the way I see it. I'll believe 14K as a price target when we lose the 2022 low, because otherwise I'm not a believer that we're going down that low. But I'm open to the possibility, right? Big difference between possibility and probability. I think people seem to blur that line a lot. People think that because it's possible, it's probable. Definitely not. If it's possible, it's possible. It's okay. On paper, it's, technically, yeah, it could happen, but is it likely to happen? Is it gonna happen? That's what I care about. And right now, it's not probable yet. Breaking this here would change my perspective and say, yeah, okay, now it is a lot more probable or possible, So there we go. What's up? We got Coley in the chat. How you doing, Coley? So let's go back down to the hourly. I want to see if this is actually moving in the. Okay, look at that! Bang! We're starting to rally. Let's go down to the 1 minute. Look at that! Beautiful. So even that in and of itself has been a nice move, right? If you were expecting support off that trend line, and you were starting to get optimistic because of the length of the wick, that's kind of telling, right? Even on the 1 minute, that's a hell of a wick. That shows that there's buy pressure. And yeah, for Bitcoin, a 0.3% move is a big move for Bitcoin, right? But I don't know. There's potential for better moves on altcoins, and that's why we look to things like Solana, XRP, DOGE, you name it. Whatever's trending for the day, scalp that. Don't scalp Bitcoin or Ethereum because it's not. I just don't feel like it's got that same amplitude to it. But hey, if you do like it slow and steady and you don't like the risky moves of the altcoins, then yeah, by all means, Bitcoin and Ethereum are a bit more attuned to that. Bitcoin especially. Ethereum's a little more. Ethereum's like a happy medium between Bitcoin and the alts, right? Ethereum's like this kind of gatekeeper between the two worlds. But yeah. So we've had a structure break on the lower time frame here. We've gone from lower highs and lower lows to higher highs and higher lows, right? We've changed the zag to the zig. So now we're zigzagging instead of zag-zigging. Yeah, that's market structure. By the way, there's a really good video that I linked in both B's server and my server, Discord, and it's to do with trend lines and how to how do you trend line? How do you use trend lines? How do you draw them? What's the rules? Are there any rules? So let me grab that video. I'm going to put it up in the chat. I'm going to link it in the chat so you can check it out because it's really useful. I found. So let me get rid of the timestamp and just have the raw link to it. It is there. I might even tweet this out because it's a good one. Let me go onto Twitter and we'll type, "Hey guys, check out this awesome video about." Well, I don't need to tell what it's about. It's in the freaking video. Little kangaroo emoji for good measure. But yeah, if you get comfortable, if you master that whole trend line situation and how to draw them and where to draw them and how to, why they matter, you can make yourself some good moves, some good plays. So right now, just as a very quick lesson on it, right? You've got lows here. You've got a very obvious pivot right here. I mean, it doesn't take a smart person to figure out that that's a pivot, right? So, lucky, I was going to say lucky I'm not a smart person, but that's not what I meant. I'm not saying that I'm a smart person, by the way. I'm just your average Joe trying to figure it out, like most people, I guess. But yeah, if you're a genius, like you'd know that that's a pivot too. So there you go. Draw a trend line based off that information, right? What have we got? We got an uptrend. We want to get a handle on what the hell's going on with this trend. So you can see if you draw, like that seems to be what's happening. We've got resistance and support. And then the idea is to trade when that breaks. Like, so if, just for argument's sake, like if we did this and then broke here, I mean, it's kind of like a risky play, but yeah, that's breaking the trend here. It's a very sharp trend, by the way. We have to like reframe this a little. That seems fair, I suppose. But don't get too hung up on the stretch and squash. As long as you're not looking at your chart like that, I don't mind. Or some people do this and it's like really violent. It looks like extreme. And I think that's kind of wrong too. You want to keep a nice balanced view. Automatic tries to do that. So the automatic button, the auto function. If your chart's out of whack, hover over the middle here and you'll see a little recycle button or reset button. Just click on that and it frames everything back up nicely. And then when you zoom in, it keeps it framed. So it's a good way to dance around the charts. Now, if you like the way the chart's looking, like with the length of the candles and everything, you can turn automatic off. Let's say you want to move to another area, but you don't want to change the stretch. Turn automatic off and it'll stay fixed like that. Nice and easy. So reset, we're back on auto. I see like other people doing TA and using TradingView, and it, like even people that are amazing analysts, and they don't really have a good handle on using the tools available that are quite basic. So just, yeah, get comfortable with that. It's going to make your life easier, I think. But hey, it's not a hard rule. Do what you like. Are we going to get the break to the top side here? It looks like it really wants to get going, huh? The whole of my watch list is almost green, right? All of it. There's only a couple that are lagging. Tron and XRP still figuring out what they're going to do for the day. But what's off to a flying start so far? ICP, Uniswap, Litecoin, DOGE is almost 0.5% up already. It's only been 42 minutes. Kind of slow still, I guess. That's the bear market for you. But Dogecoin, is it gonna bust out of this trend? It's a big deal. It's come in all the way from back here, 1st of November, all the way back there. Another pivot here, right? This is a big long-termer. This is a big trend line that it's dealing with right now. So if it can get a break to the top side, that's a really nice position to be in for a long, right? I think. We've got 8 cents up ahead, which is over here. We've got 9 cents, which I have a line for, 10 cents. These are some pretty critical levels. It seems to like bounce around in those ranges, right? Get a lot of activity off the round numbers. And thank you, Mars. Let's Mars the long. Are you talking about Bitcoin? Yeah. I don't know if I necessarily called it, but I was saying check for a reaction, and we certainly got some kind of reaction. A back test as well. Beautifully back tested the top of that range, and now we're looking at maybe going back on trend again for the day. Anyway, this is the daily candle close right here. Let me draw a vertical line, and this is why I'm saying it can be like kind of dicey trading at or around the daily open and close, right? So look to the left, look how violent that drop was, and then look at the reaction right on the daily. It's like bing bong, or bong bing, whichever language you speak. So from that perspective, like, yeah, maybe you want to wait until after the daily close for price, and maybe even the VWAP. I know the VWAP likes to wait for that change in the day to recalibrate itself, to figure out where its average price lies. So let me go to a VWAP chart. I think I've got one somewhere. Here we go. Let me just edit this. Just want the VWAP. I don't want any bands happening with it. There we go. So if we go down to the 1 minute chart, you can see exactly where the days change. It had to recalibrate. It's like, hang on a minute. I'm kind of behind the 8 ball here. I need to jump back up and get in tune with what's happening today. So it does that. It resets itself. So that's why you kind of want to be careful around the daily candle close, or the time leading up, or trending after that close. But it can make for some nice movement, that's for sure. So a drop into the daily close, the people that foresaw that, the bears that foresaw like a possible retest of some lower prices, you were geared up for a nice move down there, and you were rewarded. And then for the people that are optimistic and think that this was just a liquidity grab and, a back test of support, you were also rewarded if you jumped in and are now, riding it. This is an uptrend. Boil it down to that, right? On the 1 minute chart, we are in an uptrend on Bitcoin, so off to a flying start for today as well. RC, what's happening, dude? BLS, bruh. My man. BLS hops around. What else is there to cover? Let's turn on Ishimoku clouds, like we were talking about it yesterday. Now let's turn all the drawings off and zoom the hell out. Let's go to the daily. Where are we on a daily perspective according to Ishimoku? And we are getting rejected by clouds left, right, and center all year, all 2022, obviously, right? Are we starting to level out, the velocity of the drop has definitely slowed, the momentum, right? Sam Bankman-Fried caused a new base. So we were dealing with this base, and then bang, SBF happened, FTX collapsed, and then now we're dealing with a new somewhat floor. Like, it's the current floor. It may not be the be-all end-all floor, but it's what we're working with right now. So yeah, now we're just looking for any kind of activity to bring us back up into the cloud here, into this, and start fighting to get on top of things. You can see there are moments where price has done it. Like here, this was optimistic. This was the push to just under 50k, right? 48k. So that was the only time really that you could have got or from a daily perspective, kind of excited or optimistic. But ever since then, it's been quite pessimistic. Like even the push to 25k here, we were still very much inside the cloud on the daily chart. So, you know. And when that is the case, like this got exciting here, right? This was pre-FTX, like the days leading up to it. We started to punch through a cloud. This was looking good. And then since then, yeah, we're once again rejected by the clouds. So keep your eye on these daily Kumo clouds. We're dealing with a twist at the moment here too. Look, this Kumo twist, that's when the cloud changes color from red to green or green to red. That can kind of hint at what might be, you know, like it's like kind of like a forecast, if you will. Kind of ironic that we're calling these clouds, and then, you know, what's the other thing that we forecast? The weather, right? So we're getting a cloud up in the future here, turning green. So, you know, it's suggesting that there may be a change. But, you know, look, this was another example of that change coming, but then getting slammed down because of this reaction. So it's like, okay, no, scrap that. Scrap that idea, right? Same with this, we got a push up. This was after the Queen died. We got this push up, this rally up. Queen Elizabeth rally. Cloud was looking green even before that, right? There was I think this cloud was dealing with this. Yeah, it looks like this hump here. So this was the 25k cloud that was getting everyone bullish, right? But then we fell back below. So the cloud, you can see it looks forward, I think 26 bars. So let's measure it with a stick. So that's where the cloud currently is. That is 25 bars. So I guess it needs the close. But yeah, if you take that measure, let's go have a look at when that 25k cloud sort of appeared. Okay, here. That's when the cloud sort of started to change here, right? On this candle here. And that's the pivot. See how it pivoted. So yeah, optimistic. We were still very much in a red cloud though. Now, with Ishimoku, I might have mentioned it yesterday, but the idea is not to take positions when price is inside the cloud. Wait for it to leave the cloud. That's where your probability lies. Like you're more likely to take a correct position on exit of the cloud. So when price is in a cloud, it's good. It means that something might be on the cards. Like, you know, you're looking to either break out or break down from a cloud, right? So let's back test that. Let me go on okay, we'll do it on the daily because that's fair enough, right? Okay, let's go short when we leave the cloud from the bottom side, and let's go long when we leave the cloud to the upside. So short, we left the cloud to the bottom side, right? Set a stop loss at the previous swing, like here. That worked out. Like that traded down beautifully, right? You could have rode that for a long time. You know, obviously, like, I'm kind of cherry picking here, but you'll get the gist. Like every example here will be pretty useful, I think. Okay, price re-entered the cloud here, exited the cloud, closed. This is another short. Now, stop loss above the swing, so that's like up here. I mean, there's many ways to sort of identify where to place your stop. But yeah, at least in this example I'll give you is to place it above the previous swing, which is right there, right? The pivot. And go a little bit above it so you don't get stop hunted. But anyway, here's the entry here. Goes into profit, goes into deficit, so you're underwater here, but that's cool because look, we rode down this beautiful trend here. into an area of likely, let's measure that out as a ratio. So if the entry was here and our stop was around about here, if we hit, you could have targeted a 3-to-1 risk to reward. And that was a move of 17, 18%, right? That's the beauty of catching, or if you identify a bear market and you're trading short in a bear market, then you're gold to go. But this is just a high time frame look at what happens. Okay, this one's a little bit of a fail. So we came out of the cloud, cool. We got a close out of the cloud. So we're going for a bullish move, yeah, going for a long there. Stop loss at the previous pivot, like the pivot's ages away in this example. So, damn. What could be a way to avoid entering these terrible ideas of a position? Maybe don't take a long when price is trending below the 200, which is exactly what this line is here. If price is below the 200, only look for shorts. If it's above the 200, look for longs. So price is below the 200. It breaks above the 200 here. So maybe things were starting to look optimistic, except we have long left the cloud zone. So taking a long here is risky because you're taking it in the middle of nowhere, essentially. What you would want, like hypothetically speaking, if this stayed up here and used, say this was our 200 EMA, right? And it started to curl up and price started using it as support, you would expect the clouds to have caught up as well. And then you would have a big green cloud up here, right? And then price would enter the cloud, and then when it leaves the cloud, that would be your entry because you're above the 200 and you're leaving a cloud to the upside. But the recipe was just very shaky here. So that was a low quality kind of signal to take. So I guess you would wait. You would just be patient, right? Patience paid off. You got sucked back under. Yeah, go for it, man.
So if you had the Kingensen and the Tinkinson on, you wouldn't have taken that first trade because you would have got your TK cross too late.
Let me turn them on.
First little hump.
Base and conversion. Yeah.
You would have had a great trade with a decent exit for that 200 pop up.
Mm-hmm. So the cross here, I see what you mean.
If you just would have gone, that
for
basic
that target.
strategy,
2-1,
so you would have went for about 13%, and you would have just got it on. You would have got it on that wick.
Yeah.
The very top wick there.
So maybe, with that being said, then let's say you take that position. Yeah. The TK cross didn't happen until there, right?
Late,
yeah, it happened late. The cloud was likely green.
The 23rd. The cloud was definitely green. Yeah.
Yeah.
But say you got it on the 23rd, right? You'd use your pink right there, that beautiful flat spot on the pink, and we'll just go to the top of
as a stop 23rd. Loss. Yeah.
So what is that? 4.15%. So you're easily getting out because if you look up from there, you're at 12.60, 12.48-ish.
Yeah, that's a nice move. And this is, by the way, this is the daily. So this is, you got a lot of time to think about what's happening when you're talking daily, right?
Another thing
Another
thing you can do for Ichimoku, especially on these bigger time frames, is use the crypto settings so you double everything.
Oh, right.
But if you doubled it, you wouldn't have got this trade opportunity. You would have never. Okay, the first one when you're talking about that little hump, you would have never traded it. But also this one here, you would have never traded it either because this would be in the middle of a.
You mean this as the little hump?
Yeah, that. Yeah. So the cloud.
Cloud was probably red, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, the cloud was red, deeply red over all this, and never turned green at all.
Yeah.
On the McDouble. So none of these trades would have worked on the doubled Ichimoku settings. You would have taken this short that comes up here, though.
Yeah, this is a beautiful one, right? Like So
Yeah, and you would've
conversion
got a little
cross below the baseline.
What day is that for you?
What the cross?
Your cross,
11th.
yeah.
11th of April, yeah. And
All right,
then
so that,
entered the cloud, and then you're waiting for the break out of the cloud, which happened like basically, let's call it, let's say we're late and we use
what
this.
day is that?
So candle closed on the 22nd of April, 2022.
Okay, yeah. And see on the double settings, you would have got your confirmation candle and your cross. You would have got your cross on the 24th and your confirmation candle on the 20. So you could have gotten on the 25th.
Yeah. And then
that's a hell of a move.
Stop above or at the base, like so the baseline or the cloud, depending like how much appetite for a stop you're willing to risk.
Right.
And then targeting, whatever ratio you're comfortable with. Like I think a
1-to-1 there
1
wouldn't be bad, right?
Yeah, a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, you don't have an edge. You're basically just over time a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio is only going to reward you if you're right more than 50% of the time, right? So if you're wrong, if your win rate's only 45, then you definitely need your ratio to be up so that your winners carry your losers, like make up for your losers, right? But yeah, 1.5 like is a good way to start out, I guess, if you kind of like want to be conservative. But if you're scalping, it's a totally different game. Like you're playing with more like smaller like moves and everything. So yeah, I don't know. Just it's trial and error. I'm still, as Serrano knows, I've been using Ishimoku for the first time since yesterday. I've had about, I think there was a point where I was 2 wins, 2 losses, 3 wins, 3 losses. I'm about 50% hit rate right now. So I've had 3 losses. And it's just a matter of trying to iron out or like master your understanding of the strategy, right? And like just all the little nuances and like, where should I be pulling my stop loss into, like, and why, and how, like, should I be targeting really ambitious or should I be conservative with my target? Like all that kind of thing. Depends.
Yeah, and then you can't forget the daily. You're also super taking into account news.
Yeah, 100%. So the cool thing about the daily is you're not going to get any kind of like fake, nothing threatening anyway in the opposite direction to fake you out or to liquidate you, right? When you're playing on the 1 minute, things get faked out all the time. Things get liquidated because it's so easy to push price around on such a small time frame. But at least on the daily, there's a lot more commitment to a direction. That's what I've found anyway. So anyway, yeah, like look at this beautiful like TK cross here. It doesn't even cross back up until all the way back over here, and even still,
Right.
like price is not even touching the cloud here. So
see
that
right
was
there,
a huge short. Like,
yeah, and that's almost. I mean, you could have taken a short. You could have taken short 1, and then played that as it didn't get a cloud rejection, but it did give you a TK cross to the up and then a TK cross to the down. So technically, give you a re-entry.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, things are changing here. Maybe take a long or close your short and go long, and then wait a minute, no, don't worry, go back into your short, and then you would have rode that too.
Take a little profit.
So a little bit of a hiccup, but that's cool. Yeah, like you've made profit from your cross up here to the cross down here. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, do people just maybe even turn the clouds off? I mean, I wouldn't, and just trade the TK crosses,
Yeah.
on the higher time frames. Like,
there's people that use this part of it, that part of it, this part of it, that part of it. People, depends on the person.
But anyway, let's see what's happening in the here and now with the TK. Like, what is going on? The most recent move was a TK cross to the downside. But the cool thing is everything's traveling in this direction. We're no longer collapsing like we're falling out of the sky. We seem to have slowed that momentum down. The clouds are getting really horizontal on us. So it's squeezing. Like, that's like the hallmarks of a squeeze, right? Like, all your highs are getting lower, all your lows are getting higher. So you're now working towards some kind of apex. Check it out, CPI falls on some kind of apex, I think. Just by the way. But yeah, like definitely, I think Ishimoku is powerful. If you can be bothered to learn it, it's rewarding to know it. I think it's worth looking at. It's I even, you know, I haven't looked too deeply into Elliott wave theory because there's a lot going on with that. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work behind that, and there's a lot of like moving the goalposts depending on the new information you get, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of work behind it. But that's not to say that it's not profitable or useful. It's just, are you willing to put the work in to learn something like that? I mean, this is quick to learn. Like Ishimoku, easy. You've got conditions for entering and exiting, and you're good to go. And it works on all time frames, which is really cool. So yeah, worth having a look at. I'm going to go back down to the 4-hour chart and see if there's any kind of, like, it totally changes the story when you zoom in, right? So this is when you start to get into the more of the swing tradey type moves. Looks like we're trying to bust out of these clouds. It looks like we might get a Kumo twist, which is suggestive of a change in the weather, right? We're going for a green cloud soon, maybe. That could start forming if we get the break, if we start to rally up and maybe see 17K. But it's early to say that. It's just, it's fun to project and try and see, you know, the potential there, but look at this. Okay, we've fallen out. Like, let's go back to the 1-minute chart. Remember those trend lines I was talking about? Like, as soon as you break a trend, you can take a position on that break and ride out, you know, the preceding downtrend. So that's another, you know, let me just turn off the Ishimoku for a minute. I'll do these lines. Okay. So could this be the big back test that we're playing with? So we came down, hit support, and now maybe this is like, it's looking for either support on this or back on this blue ascending trend line here. Or it breaks all of it and heads down further, like to wherever the next structure is, like support structure. So yeah, I guess this is why we have stop losses. This is why we have targets for trades. If you did enter a trade like through this area, like awesome. But the next question is, where do you take profit? Do you expect it to keep climbing? Do you expect like a rally to come up and test up here? Maybe it will at some point, but it's just not yet, right? It's what this is here is like a back test, it seems. It left a big nasty gap here when it climbed. See this exposed side of the chart? It left a gap all here. This is like a big zone. This bubble. It's a bubble here, which has been filled. Maybe this is coming back to find another example of support. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much all you have to do is like try to identify trends through like putting boundaries around the price action, and then looking for when that price action breaks, or like when that trend breaks, right? So it broke obviously to the downside here. It back tested, couldn't even get up to where it fell from, and that was a nice short. Look at this, look at the wick on that. See that candle there? What is this a swing failure of? Is it of this point right here? Are we grabbing liquidity from that little push down? Could we possibly look at maybe going long around this area and riding the next pulse up? Or is it going to completely fail and break lower? That's the way I've been trying to identify what's going on, is just looking left, looking for any kind of pivot or structure, and then, you know, expecting resistance. Here's a great example of why did it pull up here? Why did price not break higher? And look at this big old nasty pivot over here. That caused some form of, you know, resistance. It's ceiling. If you want to take it to the candle body, it's probably a bit more accurate. Yeah, like it's a combination. It's rectangles and it's trend lines. So trend lines are the ones that create triangles and wedges and whatnot. Those are trend lines. And then the thing that creates rectangles are lines of support and resistance, which are the horizontals, right? The combination of that, if you marry that up and you watch that video that I linked up in the chat, that's the best kind of basis for technical analysis and like trying to understand the charts. So we've got a few viewers compared to yesterday. The stream's been up for an hour and a half. Could this be an indication of activity coming back in, some interest back into the market? Peak viewers today has been 36. That's good. I don't think I've seen it that high in a while. So appreciate you guys coming in and checking it out. I'll try to make these streams even more and more useful as time goes by, as I develop as a trader and an analyst. Try to say that fast, and an analyst. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Yeah, this, I don't know. It just looks like this zone is healthy as support until proven otherwise, right? Look at these highs here. Bitcoin back over here. I'm going to draw a line from that. So if we go, let me just go up to the 15-minute chart briefly. Is there any kind of structure left which caused that reaction? And yeah, you can see it. This reaction, this reaction, this reaction. You know, this was a huge wick. Who knows why it pulled up where it did, but it pulled up nonetheless. And then, you know, this fell short, didn't quite make it to the zone. But I guess that's why that's why I've got these boxes here, right? These blue boxes. It's because support and resistance should be seen more as an area rather than a line. Trend lines can maybe be the same, right? They can be an area, seen as an area rather than an exact line. So this potentially would be like your next sort of zone of support. Or if you want to delete that old one, right? The one we're using, get rid of that line and just look at the wicks. Maybe it's more of like a broader range of support like that. I guess you just got to play around with it. It's not right or wrong. It's just whatever gives you the most insight into what's kind of happening. Definitely some action off this area, like this, somewhat like this, right? If I was to try and squeeze it into like the most important range, it seems to be like Like what area is getting the most action off it? And this is what volume profiles are all about, by the way. Volume profiles are those volume bars that come up the side like this, and you'll get like a big spike in volume on the side. It'll come down, and then maybe you'll get another one up here, and then you get these massive holes. That's pretty much just another way of looking at these lines of support, or this line of activity. Little bit different, but similar. But yeah, I guess you got to think horizontally, not just at looking at trend lines, which are diagonals. Now, there's obviously, having said that, on the support side, there's also a resistance side to this as well. And that's kind of like up here. It's like, it's not as clear. There's definitely a good couple of examples of it through here. We bring this across, look, it meets up with these as well. So let me grab a pen. So support, break, down, resistance initially, broke back above, back on support. Resistance, these are quite low. But yeah, that's a fairly big level. What's that? $17,000 I'm going to call that. Yeah, it's kind of hazy. Like if you just treat resistance and support more like a cloud rather than a line, then you're sort of a bit more on the money with what's happening, like with how support and resistance behaves, right? Because you get a lot of action. You can get a lot of action that goes through resistance and through support, but you just want to get like a feel for the zone, like what's good value, what's a premium. So this is like a discount zone, I guess you could say. And then on the top side, that's the premium zone, so where you're actually selling when you bought the discount. So if you can identify a range, it's like that, right? But yeah, just find what works for you as far as like trying to identify where price is going, what the structure looks like. And try to also think, what is the rest of the market looking at? Because that matters too. Like, what does everybody see? What's the consensus? Because I want to trade off that. I want to trade off what people think is a resistance line and a support. Like, what's the majority looking at there? You can kind of get an idea of that in TradingView, by the way. If you go into ideas, you can find other people's ideas on the coin that you're trading. Let me just go to the TradingView website and I'll show you. So crypto TradingView. Here we go. So this is Bitcoin against Tether, so USDT on Binance. If you click on the ideas tab on this page, you'll get what's hot and you'll get what's recent. So this is the newest ideas about Bitcoin. Some people put in that they're short, so they're bearish, or long. Short, long, like there's a mix. A bit of a mixed bag, but you can sort of try to see what most people are looking at. And these can be all sorts of people. These can be complete noobs, or like, pros that have a large following. If you click on what's hot or what's popular, like what are the popular points of view here? Bitcoin, Wyckoff dynamics to set up huge alteration. So that's worth a look. Hello community, the year 2022 is finished and the start of 2023 has been initiated. The year 2022 was a year of extremely volatile market conditions, showing the results of a longer series of economic events like fallouts in supply chains, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, this is a nice, handy way to see what a bulk of people are looking at. Look, this guy's got a full-on analysis written out. There's the FTX collapse. He sees like a Wyckoff accumulation zone. So that's where you get the spring and the test and all that. So he's suggesting that we're currently in a test and we're about to start ripping up. So this guy's bullish. Maybe worth reading and seeing what he thinks. But Bitcoin will crash exactly at this level. All right, let's see. Okay, so this guy's kind of like Clive. He's calling for a push to 17, possibly. But then he sees a big crash coming, so... He's got a bit of a write-up as well. Very nice. This guy's a bit of a fence sitter. A bit bipartisan. Increase or decline. BTC, huge pump ahead. Wait for it. That's bullish, yeah. Now they're on the 4-hour chart, so maybe, you know, pump to what? 18,000, 17,000, you know. Might just be a mid-range target, but not much of a write-up there. Probably a noob. I'm a noob. I don't have big, extensive write-ups that I post, so just for a bit of comparison. Ooh, look where we're at, 16,666, the mark of the beast. Look at this, see, support and resistance ranges. Resistance zone, support zone. I like this. This is cool. I would agree with this like kind of analysis, like way of looking at you know, where Bitcoin's at. So he was out what, on the 4-hour? I guess you kind of gravitate to what you know, to what rings true to you. So his range was something like this. His or her, whoever it was. Something like this, right? Support side. And you can, the beauty of this is you can really dial into just the here and now. You don't have to look at the super high time frame. You can dial it in a bit tighter to the more relevant, you know, price activity. Maybe it's more something like that, right? $51 million Tether moved wallets 5 minutes ago. Well, that's big. What's happening there? Are they getting ready to buy? That's a lot of Tether. Someone's getting some fiat. Well, basically that's how I see Tether. It's basically fiat, right? It's dollars. They're mobilizing Tether. Bitfinex to Kraken. Okay. Could be just some liquidity by the exchanges, perhaps. I don't know. It's like, guys, we're running out of Tether. We need some more. Can we take a loan out? Kraken's asking Bitfinex for some help. Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, look at this. It is a nice rectangle. It'll be interesting to see what holds, you know. Let me draw this right out. Let's take this all the way to CPI. Hopefully we leave this range, you know, at least at CPI, if not maybe before, so that we get some answers as to the direction. You know, is the market bullish or bearish right now? Yeah, obviously still on the fence. We haven't really got an answer just yet. It's still squeezing like crazy. Our highs are getting lower. Lows are either getting higher or going sideways. Like, there's not as many examples. There's a low all the way up here, but that was, yeah, a bit out of whack. Yeah, so we're definitely squeezing into something. That something being CPI. So CPI being Consumer Price Index, which is the measure of inflation. Yeah, everything's pulled back right now. Correct. Yeah. Solana, wow, big correction. XRP, bleed out, yeah. Maybe that's the theme of the day for the altcoins. Maybe they're correct. Put your shorts on. Not financial advice. Oh yeah, S&P pulling back. So this is the futures, the S&P futures. Back into the pennant. It was looking optimistic initially, huh? Big gap up. Now we got, you know, crashing back to reality. Yeah, Hussey, the thumbnail is interesting. It was basically just a bit of a jab or a friendly jab at the bears out there, because you know I'm not a bear. I'm bearish at the moment, but I'm not a bear. I'm not a perma bear or anything like that. There's people out there like projecting for the total collapse of Bitcoin and like the failure of the S&P or some shit like that. I'm not in that camp by any means. Waiting for the yeah, here it is. Snowball's chance in hell is the kind of that's the kind of sentiment that the bears are trying to push, that Bitcoin has a snowball's chance in hell at, you know, going into a bull market or something like that. You know, that's basically what that is. Don't read into it too deeply. We've got 36 people. There's been like another resurgence in viewers here. 38 is the peak. Very nice. How long's the stream been on for? Just under 2 hours. It's been an hour and 47 minutes. Thanks for coming in to check out the stream, guys, today. Appreciate the support. It's awesome. When did you see the USDT movement? Yeah, that's a good question. Hello from SD California. What's up? SD Willie. Interesting. So, Honest just shared a tweet in the general chat of Crypto Down on the Discord. Breaking: report claims Alameda Research was already a sinking ship long before Sam Bankman-Fried launched his crypto exchange FTX. Wow. There you go. Well, it kind of doesn't surprise me the way they run things. It's doomed to fail. Oh yeah, that's a whale alert. Nice. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate that, man. Well, I think that pretty much covers what's happening. What's happened in the last, since the last stream. We're seeing if, how are we behaving out of this box here, this rectangle? Are we coming back to back test the support side, or are we satisfied with the test down here? Is that enough of a test to let us come back up and have a look at the top side? So I guess, yeah, we're just sort of waiting on the sidelines here. We're sort of riding this trend line. It's been a very dirty test of that trend. So yeah, thanks guys for stopping by. Thanks for checking out the stream. I'll wrap it up here, and take care of yourselves. Have a good evening, have a good night, or a good day wherever you are, and catch you later. Oh, Michael, I had to turn my stream back on just to thank you. Appreciate that. That's a big. Is that 20 euros or 20 pounds? I think that's pounds. Damn. Appreciate that, man. That's very generous of you. I'll make sure to bring the fire same time tomorrow, guys, and hopefully there's more to talk about. But yeah, if we can get ourselves excited and optimistic in a market like this, and I don't mean optimistic as in let's go bull market. I just mean optimistic as in look at the opportunities, right? If we can draw opportunity out of a market that's going sideways, just wait until things get moving. We're gonna be having a great time with trades. So hang in there, guys. It's the light. There is light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, appreciate the support, guys. Catch you next time. Have a good one. See ya.